Hey, everybody. Hey, Robert. This is it. We actually made it on time. I got Kyt. I ran over to his place. I unlocked his cage, and I brought him out, and he's here, and he's can't wait to talk to you about updates to reporting. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this Friday, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening for you. I'm Jonathan Crow, Director of Community at Ninja One. And I've got Kyt Archer. He's the product manager here at Ninja One, and he oversees quite a few things. But Kyt, I know reporting has been really a big one. That when you joined Ninja, you came from an MSP background, and you looked at reporting, and you're like, okay, time to roll up our sleeves, get some work to do. And you've been hammering away at that, and also working on what we refer to as the mainline team. And so you've got your hands in a lot of the things that are the really core functionality of Ninja One, with the RMM and the endpoint management aspects. Anything else you want to add?
No, that's a pretty good introduction. I would say I've my only caveat is I've been sick for like 3 weeks. So if my voice sounds a little weird or if I cough, I'm sorry. Doing my best. But no, yeah, we definitely have been in the lab as far as reporting goes, and I'm excited to get to show off some of the sort of first results of that. And we definitely have a lot of cool stuff coming mainline as well, but that's not what today's about. So
Yeah. So to reset the stage for everybody, I'm sure a lot of you folks have I recognize names and everything. You've seen these before, you know the drill. But just in case for anyone who's joining later on watching the recording, so this is our bonus 11.0 week stream. 11.0, the latest big Ninja One release. Went out to everyone. We released in stages, so folks in Australia and then in Europe, Canada were actually the first ones who get it, and then North America. So everyone's got access to 11.0 now, and there's a ton of stuff in there. We have webinars and release notes you can access in the dojo. Jeff Hunter does a really great overview webinar that we can drop a link to, or you can just search our YouTube. You'll see it. It's one of the first ones up. But we'd like to invite the PMs to come in and talk about some of the features that they personally were working on, because our releases have gotten pretty big. There's a lot of different aspects in there. There's a lot of different products these days in Ninja One. And so this gives us an opportunity to dive a little bit deeper, get a little bit more technical, and it gives you all a chance to ask questions and air whatever it is that you would like now that we have Kyt here. So without further ado, Kyt, what would you like to show us?
Sure. So I do want to address just one YouTube comment real quick, which is that I like crunchy peanut butter. There will be a 30-minute stream about why crunchy peanut butter is superior to smooth peanut butter in a future state. Don't worry about that. We'll get there. Today's about reporting. So today what I'm bringing to you is there's sort of two new core features in 11. One of them is, I think, fairly minor, but I think is really cool for reasons that I'll show you. And then the other one is our core sort of big flagship release feature, which is the ability to take sort of our device search and just put it in reports. Lots of flexibility there, lots of things I'm sure you can get your imagination rolling and think about what that might look like. But I brought a couple of specific examples today just to show off some of the things you could do with that. And then I also want to talk about specifically the ability to hide the cover sheet, which sounds like a goofy thing. Like, well, why would I want to hide the cover sheet to my report? But I'm going to show you some cool things that you can do, especially in combination with the new functionality, that might make you rethink that. So that's my goal for today. I'm going to go ahead and share out my screen as long as we're ready to do that. And here we go.
All right. Whoops. Hold on. Let me do that one more time. There we go.
Also, real quick shout out. This is Zen Browser. It's like a fork of Firefox. It does all kinds of cool stuff. You get like little workspaces at the bottom. You can pin stuff. It's really nice. If you don't use it, you should give it a try.
Interesting.
All right. So reporting, right? So the first thing, let's just talk about creating a new report, right? So we got a summary report in here. We're going to call this Robert likes smooth peanut butter. The description is because he is wrong. And so we're going to go ahead and create that. And this is a global report. So in here, the first thing you're going to see, I mentioned, you can show or hide a cover page, right? So if I select hide, now there's basically nothing here. And if I select show, we show the cover with some sort of placeholders for the information. So I'm going to select hide for now, and we're going to customize this. And I'm going to show off, this is our new section. So when you come in here and you customize, at the very top, you're going to see data table. And the first thing you're going to see is custom data table. So when you click that, you're going to get this settings page here that's going to ask you to select a data set. Right now, there's only one of these, but this is sort of, I guess, a thing I wanted to pause and talk about for a second, which is we're planning to implement a whole bunch of these. And so the future of reporting is going to be that you're going to sort of pick a way that the data looks, and then you're going to pick what that data is, and you're going to be able to just sort of customize that information to show what you want on your reports. And this is the very, very early sort of first release of some of that work that we've been doing under the hood that has sort of kept me quiet for the last 6 months. Definitely had nothing to do with being in a cage in Jonathan's basement. So in here, I'm going to select device search, which is currently our only sort of thing. And the only thing that's required for that data set is that you're going to see the device. So this comes in here. I do want to call out real quick. So these filters are empty right now. And in our next release, 12, right? I know we're talking about 11, but in our next release, you're going to inherit organization and location filters from the report. Didn't make it for this release, but we felt like it was better to just give you that functionality. And that's one of the reasons I'm showing you a global report here, just because it's a little easier to grok the customization. But so in here, we'll call this, my data table. And much like the device search, right, we can select any number of columns that you might see. And we've got a bunch of custom fields at the bottom. So like an example would be, maybe I want to list the organization here and the location. And maybe I would like the device to actually come after that, so that we have organization, location, and device. And then maybe I'm interested in what policy the server is using or device is using. So now I can very easily have just a report of policy. So now what does this let you do, right? So let's say I add this, and I'm going to save it here. So I now have this sort of preview, which shows all my organizations, my locations, sorted by device name, and the policies that are applied. And so I'm going to come back in real quick to edit, because I think maybe that's not the most useful thing. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to sort this by the policy. And that seems like it's going to be more useful to me. So I'm going to apply that, save it, close this again. Now I have a report of devices by policy. That feels maybe a little more useful. From here, right, I can actually click here, open in a new tab, and go to that policy. I can also, from the report, I could go to the organization, I could go to the location, or I could go to the device. This is like a nice jumping off point. And you're probably thinking to yourself, yeah, but it's a report. Well, that's why we've made it so you can hide the cover sheet. So something else that you see over here that people don't use a ton is favorites. So this report can actually be added to your favorites. And now I can come to my Robert Like Smooth Peanut Butter report anytime I want from anywhere in the app, right? So I could be here, maybe I'm looking at a device, whatever. This could become sort of a core thing that I work from, where like, oh, I need to just see a device. I go to a policy, everything is in here. And this could be filtered in whatever way you want. There's a bunch of filters. This is one example of kind of a contrived example, I acknowledge, but like it has, 4 jumping off points that you could very easily get to for any given device. And so I think that's a useful thing. But that's not really a feature people have asked for. So let's talk about features that maybe people have asked for. So I've made some couple of reports here, if I could type. I have a Lifecycle report here. And so this Lifecycle report, you'll see it's filtered to the organization global operations. I've got all locations, whatever. And down here, I've added some Lifecycle information. So I have device name, I have the location of where those devices live, what type of device they are, a serial number. Please ignore the fact that these are all weird serial numbers. This is all kind of generated data. I have a warranty end date. And so we're sorting the warranty end date here by most recently expired. And I'll show you kind of the customization of this in a moment. We also have over on the right, the processor and memory. Again, mock data, so please be kind. But in here, you can see like what's the processor, which is also a nice analog for like how old is it, how much memory does the device have, and this could be a very good way for you to take a look at your inventory and say like, well, these devices have aged out or are aging out. We should do something about these. So let me come in here and show you the configuration a little bit. So I'm going to customize this. And so when I'm customizing for a data table that's already been added, I get this 3 dots menu. I can click on this and click edit, and that's going to bring me back into my filters. So you can see in here, I've selected global operations as a filter, and I've selected less than or equal to 3 months for the warranty end date. So essentially like it's less than or equal to 3 months in the future, right? So that's going to hit all past dates and any upcoming expirations in the next 3 months. I could also, if I wanted to, right, restrict this to just servers, right? If I was only interested in a server report. I could come in here and also say like, I'm actually only interested in things that are unhealthy. Which, again, any of the sort of standard, any of the sort of standard stuff that you could think of that you might want to do in the device search as like an operational thing, you could also get this out as a scheduled report or a PDF. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of this real quick. And so just to show you sort of what this could do, I'm going to download this PDF, which is hopefully going to open a new tab. So you can see all of this information comes out also in a nice grid in a PDF, which means this can all be scheduled and emailed to somebody if that's something that you want to do. So I'm pretty proud of this. I think this is pretty useful. I think this is definitely a feature that was requested by quite a few folks once we added the warranty stuff to make it so that you could get some of this information surfaced in an easier way. So I'm pretty proud of this. I'm going to pause here and see if there's anything in chat that people have talked about or read or anything. I do have one more report to show after this, but I want to see what we've got going on in chat.
Yeah, absolutely. So Robert did have a question here. Of course, there's the important, peanut butter distinction, but really the question here being custom fields. Can we make reports on those or not?
You can add end user custom fields with a checkbox if someone likes smooth peanut butter, not going to make reports on those custom fields. So the custom fields in this case are going to be limited to the ones at like your organization, location, and device level. So I don't recall. Maybe I'm thinking of a future release where we have custom fields on users, but I guess the answer is yes. Right? You can certainly include custom fields in this report. So I have an example of that coming up. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Here's another one from Coffee Bean Ben.
Hey, is there an intention to bring multi-value?
I'm just realizing now who you are. Okay, so is there an intention to bring multi-value sorting here? Example, sort by policy, then by org.
So at the moment, no. I would say right now we're looking to sort of hit feature parity with the device search. So like right now we're working on, as I said, inheriting from the organization and location for organization reports. We also need to still implement groups in a more robust way. So like the inheriting groups from the from the report, and then also subsequently filtering groups. And we're also a little bit more focused on like adding additional sources of data. I think there's definitely a world where we revisit being able to multi-sort, but the goal is really just sort of surface the data to you that we currently don't have great access to, and then come back for like a lot of the polish and sort of stuff that would make things a little bit easier to use.
We had one question, AP Birch. This is a great one. So to reiterate, yeah, I mean, this is all available, but this is a good question because the way that we release things, some things are open. They're what's our terminology? They're general availability to everybody. Some things are open to beta access and things like that, where you have to go and talk to your account manager to get things enabled. In this case, Kyt, which bucket does this fall under?
So this is just generally available, and I will say so. I have a bit of a guiding principle for reporting, which is I firmly believe that even if it's a little rough around the edges, when we come up with new stuff, we should just get it in front of you as soon as we can. Um, there might be exceptions to that in the always, but if it's at all possible, I try to just make it generally available to everyone because I want you to be able to use it, be able to tell me what's wrong with it, make improvements to it, and most importantly, right, like I think it's important, especially given the amount of time that we've gone without any reporting updates, to show you guys that like we're doing stuff right. We've definitely been cooking under the hood, and so for me, it's really important for you guys to understand that we've been cooking under the hood, and that like any small incremental change that we can make at this point, I just want to get it in front of as many people as possible to demonstrate that like I'm keeping my promises to the community that we're going to make this a continually evolving product, and you're going to see improvements as we go. So not to say that I'll never put anything behind a feature flag in reporting, but it is definitely a goal not to.
And I see AP Birch, you had a follow up saying you don't see how you can create that in your environment. I'm trying to
Sure.
think.
I mean, I can walk through it again at least. So when you're in here, you have to create a summary report. So it can't be a data table or a runbooks report. It has to be a summary report. It can be global or an organization report. Either way, you just give it some kind of name, right? I use a Dvorak keyboard, by the way, which is why you're seeing lots of L's. And then you click create. And then in here, when you click customize, you should see the section custom data table. And that should be released to all of our regions. The only exception to that, I think, I don't believe our FedRAMP environment has gotten this yet. So if you are in FedRAMP, that might be a reason that you don't see this. But every other environment that we have does have this in its place.
Yeah, and if you do run into any other trouble with that, definitely don't hesitate to reach out with support, and we'll help you out there. And then I just wanted to call this to your attention. Matt says, "Hey, this Lifecycle example is almost exactly what they're going to try to do. So they're already looking forward to putting this to use, which is cool. Thanks, Matt."
Cool. Thanks for validating my demo, man.
Ben did say multi-value sorting.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so I guess let's talk a little bit about the under the hood improvements because cool. I think that's probably a good segue to that. So we have some internal names for this stuff that I don't want to share because it could change, but essentially we have the concept of like data, right, as like a category of data that we want to share, and then we also have the concept of like filtered versions of that data or like views of that data. There's going to be like official product naming around all of that at some point, but I don't have it yet, so I don't want to talk about it. But so all of that work sounds a lot, right? Like devices and groups. And if it sounds a lot like devices and groups, that's not a mistake or a thing that you're thinking is crazy. It's because we're sort of modeling some of that work after our groups work and after our device search work. But we really want to generalize it so that it's easier to offer additional options in the future. And there's probably a world in the not too distant future where we take all that under the hood work and we put it back under device search so that it's completely powered by this new stuff that we're working on. And the reason we want to do that and the reason that we want to expand all that stuff is groups will actually become this new concept of like a filtered view. It'll still be groups in the app, and like we're not going to call it anything different there. But it is definitely going to allow us to more easily pivot sort of the underlying features. So things like multi-sort, things like being able to group data in specific ways, right? Like maybe I want a count of devices that have something. And right now there's not really a great way to do that. So this work will facilitate a lot of that. So I guess what I'm saying is like, if you please be patient, there's a whole framework we're building under the hood that will definitely allow for better data viewing and better data manipulation. I don't have like a definite time frame for like when that's going to happen. We're just crunching away at it as fast as we can. I'm hoping to have a little bit more to share roadmap wise sometime next year, so that you'll have a little bit more to just discreetly look forward to. Like, oh well, we'll get this in 15 and this in 16 or whatever. But right now it's all a lot of very, very complicated engine work under the hood, so to speak, and we just aren't quite willing or ready to commit to specific timeframes around it. But I hope all of those things sound exciting to you, because they sound exciting to me. So like multi-sort, I would say is on the roadmap eventually. It's just not our top priority right now. Things like being able to count or aggregate results is probably a little higher on the list for me. So we'll probably deliver that at some point next year, I hope, and that will also be a really cool enhancement.
Thank you, Kyt. There's just two other quick questions. Ben also asked, can you build a single report with multiple device list segments in it?
Absolutely. So you can not only can you build a report with multiple segments, you can also have different filters on them. So like an example could be you could have a per location view of devices. So your top one could be like your main office. Your second one could be like a satellite office, or if you use a global report and you're using organizations for like departments or something like that, one could be one department, one could be another. I would love to say like, hey, you can have as many as you want, but that's not quite true. They do grow the report fairly large. So you can have as many as you want if you're not looking to turn it into a PDF. If you're looking to turn it into a PDF, I would say after you've gotten to 2 or 3, you're very likely to reach like our PDF limit, which will give you like an error message. We're working on some of that under the hood as well, but like right now, we're relatively happy with it, and we think that the value is there, regardless of being able to build out like a massive, 15, 20 grid report. And if you don't have a ton of devices in those grids, like you can absolutely build out a ton of the grids, but just like if you've got a lot of devices, you're not going to be able to get to like 5, 6 grids that all have a bunch, of devices before you run out of sort of size that we can email a PDF. But yeah, no, there's functionally, I think you could get up to 10 is the restriction on sections currently, and you can just add. They could all be custom data tables.
Awesome. I know you have another thing you want to show. This is the last. I'll hold you up for this one, and then we should let Kyt show the other thing here. Luke, thanks for being here and posting this question. Is there a way to say in an organization a group of devices has gone offline times X amount of times this month?
Oh, so like tracking the number of times a device has gone offline. I think the short answer to that is no. The longer answer to that would be you might be able to make use of like some sort of tracking device and use the API to do it, or you might be able to use like a cloud monitor depending on the configuration of like that group of devices. Like if they're all behind a specific network device, maybe you could monitor the network device and then look at the history of the cloud monitor. So there are probably a few clever solutions, but there's nothing native right now that would tell you how many times something has gone offline. There is the downtime column. I know a lot of people have asked for like, hey, can you show me devices that have been offline for 30 days? So we've now delivered a way that you can do that. Like if you were to use the downtime column and filter in a custom data table report, you're going to be able to get a list of devices that have been offline for 30 days or more, which I know is a really, really common request. So maybe that helps.
All right, thanks, Kyt. And Patrick, I see, oh man, it's a bummer you missed, but good news is this is recorded. You'll be able to catch up with the beginning. And then Kyt also has one more thing that he wants to show. So let's do that.
Sure. So yeah, one thing while I'm in here, right, I touched on it briefly, but like, and I'm just going to add a custom data table in here first real quick. So there's a few things, right? I didn't talk about stacking columns. So this is the standard stack columns that you get out of our device search. So like you can here have, your org, your location, what your server role is. This has like information about whether the policy is overridden and what the last login is, kind of all in one column. So you can include that. We wanted that to be there. You can also choose. So like if I select a couple of columns here, right? Device type, health status. You can also choose which of those to sort on. So like if I really want to, I could sort by device type. We showed that briefly, but I just wanted to talk about it. So yeah, okay. Let's talk about custom fields. So this was the other report that I had. So I wrote a little story, and I thought it was a nice little story about Jonathan. And so I made a custom field called Data Order Matters. And so you can see here, I'm going to read it for you. It says, Kyt is not safe. Jonathan takes him away to his hideout and locks the door behind them. The outside world melts away.
You're breaking up, Kyt.
Oh no, I'm breaking up. Well, you can read. So you can see here, there's just this nice story about how Jonathan took me away and then helped me do some work, and the feature came out. And so I think that's really cool. right? Like that shows that you can add custom fields. Like you can see there's text in here. And so I thought it was a fun way to do that. I also, okay, so there is one other thing I've forgotten about, right? So in here, now that I'm thinking about it, you can also change the order that you're sorting. So like you can do ascending or descending. So you can see when you do that, right? Now the story is just in backwards order, right? So, but you know, for lots of reasons that could be super useful, not just to tell a story in reverse. Yeah, and that's it. All right.
Oh man, I've got to vet your demos more carefully in the future.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. This is, I mean, it's completely a coincidence that this actually reads. Yeah, this is nothing, guys. Don't worry about it. It's nothing. It's I just was trying to reorder the lines. I had no idea it would do that. That's weird.
Very strange. Let's quickly go to another question.
Yeah, that seems good.
Ben, there's a wealth of information in an activities log. That could be really useful for turning reports without having to dive into the API. Any plans around that?
I'm gonna say yes, but it's probably a little further out. We're doing some architectural work around our activities stuff. Right now, it's a little bit difficult to dig into like the data that's in those activities logs in a super meaningful way. Like it's great for when you're looking at the activity log and you want to see like a running history of what's going on. It's a little less useful to like selectively pull information out of it. So we're doing some work that'll make that a little easier to do. And when that's complete, I definitely want to include a lot of that information you're talking about. So on the roadmap, no ETA, standard product manager response. I got you.
I think the story means what you're showing on your screen here. I think we should turn it into a Christmas Carol. Actually.
No, there's nothing. There's nothing. I told you this is just it's a complete accident that it works that way. I didn't mean it at all.
All right. Any other questions? We got a few more minutes here, and you've got Kyt held captive. I mean, here by his own free will.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can make use of it. Any other questions about reporting what he just showed you, or anything else that's on your mind, guys? And while we're doing that, Kyt, I mean, I guess this is a chance for us to do our obligatory Discord shout out and talk about where people can, tag you. They can add feature requests and things of that nature. I mean, this is how we build Ninja One, is by listening to you all, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we do have the Ninja One Discord, which I'm sure there is a link to somewhere in our YouTube stream, as well as there we go. There's a QR code on screen. Pretty great. So by all means, join our Discord if you're not there. I am just listed as Kyt Archer, product manager there. You can certainly tag me. There's a reporting channel if you want to talk about reporting. There's an RMM channel if you want to talk about like core RMM stuff. There's a bunch of other channels you can tag the other PMs in. We all actually just hang out there because we have no other things to do. I'm kidding. No, we do hang out there. I will say I'm guilty of going several days without reading Discord at this point, and I feel bad about that. But I definitely try my best to at least keep up with requests and comments there. You know, for things that are around improvements, especially. Like I definitely take note of them. We do also have like our roadmap has the ability to like vote on stuff. We have a product board portal that lets you submit feature requests and thoughts on like what could be better. We spend a lot of time listening to our customers about the things that they want, and then trying to figure out ways that we can incorporate all of that into meaningful change in the app. And hopefully, especially with like the Lifecycle report thing today, you've seen that we don't necessarily always deliver exactly what you're looking for in the way that you're thinking we'll deliver it, but we try to make sure that we're delivering really good value to you guys and giving you the things.
Well said. All right. Well, that gave us a few more folks time to ask a few more questions. And so here we have Not Patrick. This is Josh. Don't let him fool you. So totally missed it. But are we at some point going to be able to customize reports like in a deeper manner than simply choosing what pre-drafted report elements to show or not show?
Yes. So our goal is actually largely to phase out like those pre-drafted elements. Not draft them out, but like we want them to basically be a preset collection of the things that they're comprised of. So like I would love it if I could give you the ability to create like a pie chart or bar chart or a grid and just arrange those in the way that you would like to make like a custom report. So that is where my roadmap is headed. We're not there now, but that is definitely what we are looking to do. So that's a very long answer, but yes.
All right. Let's see. We have another one here. Is there a way to filter out devices where the warranty end date is blank?
No. You can certainly I will say so. Yes and no is maybe the better answer. So when you set a filter for warranty end date having like some sort of date value, it will not list anything that doesn't have a warranty date because it no longer is part of like the filter that correlates to having something in the future or in the past. So if you set that date arbitrarily high, you will only get things that have warranty dates. But what I will say is if you set both of those, you could so if you set both filters, the warranty start and end date, you won't see anything with any empty values, but you may miss some devices if they only have one value, right? So like some devices may not have a warranty start date, for example. And if you were to filter on both start and end date, then you would miss out on any devices that don't have a start date. So my suggestion is probably filter on the end date and then I'll just kind of suck it up if there's no start date, because that just means we weren't able to pull it from the API.
All right. We're basically at time. We're going to cram in just one other. It's kind of like more of a comment too. But Ben, thank you for being so active here. Improve patch health reporting. And so, there's reporting and there's patching. Patching is obviously a big part of this, but we're starting to see some overlap here into another PM's domain. But anything you want to add to this, Kyt?
Absolutely. So Chris and I are best friends. We spend a lot of time together. And actually, I recently handed a project off to his team. And the project is to take all of our reporting today that exists, all of our prefab patch stuff, and to update all of it to match sort of the work that they've done on the patch dashboard. So like some of you have noticed that like the values in the reports drift from what's on the dashboard. And that's just because we're using like different methods of calculating what goes where. So Chris's team has had, at this point, several years of experience learning what people want and what was there. And our patch reports are several years older than that. So we handed that project off, I want to say about 2 weeks ago. And I actually got my first update today that they finished scoping out what that's going to look like. And you guys should start to see over the next month or two. Those reports start filtering out either in sort of incremental releases or as part of like the 12.0 release, depending on when they're done. 13.0, depends. Like essentially, it's one of their new priorities to just update all the reports to be in line with what we're expecting. And so you should see improved patch reporting, patch health reporting, I should say, very soon.
Awesome. Okay. Well, we've kept you here long enough. Time to go back into the dungeon. Back to
work.
Your day. Your work.
Yeah, gotta go to work.
Yeah. There was one last question. Where did it go? Oh yeah, Robert. Kyt is indeed my favorite PM right now.
That's what I've heard. To be fair, the answer to that question is always whoever is on the video with him is currently his favorite PM, and I understand that.
This isn't quite true. I'm making Burn work for it. He's a new guy.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm looking forward to the next time you're up in the main area so we can get some good food again. Kyt cares a ton. A very genuine person. Anytime that I've had the fortunate chance to be around Kyt, he's always been interested in getting people together, making sure everyone's involved and included. Usually going out to go outside, just the usual thing, to have a new experience, which is really cool, and which I appreciate. And he's a terrific PM. So Kyt, thank you for being here. Thanks everybody for being in the comments and here live during this last session of the year. So happy holidays, everybody.
Yeah, happy holidays. Thanks for having me and the kind words. Go out there and play some board games.
Absolutely. I hope everyone has a chance to take some downtime and not suffer downtime over the holidays. And